So if you haven't heard by now, we got some new knee pads on April 1st that redirects 50% of the damage you shoot to another target. And it appears to be not working quite right with headhunter builds, and it's taking the one-shot world by storm, because you're doing almost double damage and killing 2 enemies with one shot. Now if you haven't heard and snipers are your thing, be sure to check out the video link in the description where I show you how crazy the one-shots are right now. Now I know one-shots aren't for everyone, so this video I've got a build for you that is an absolute tank and lets you get right in the enemy's face with all gas, no brakes, triggers down, whatever you want to call it, and still enjoy the Turmoil knee pads. So with that, let's take a look at this build. So for this build we're going to be using the Heartbreaker gear set. We're going to be using the backpack, the gloves, the chest, and the holster. So let's take a look at the backpack first. So the 4-piece bonus is Heartstopper. It says headshots apply pulse for 5 seconds. So we're going to do something a little bit later that's going to make it so you don't have to worry about this part probably 99% of the time. So the second part says weapon hits on pulsed enemies add a stack of plus 1% bonus armor and 1.1% weapon damage to pulsed enemies, up to a max stack of 50. 2 stacks are lost each second. So we can see here under our ammo bar we have this orange icon that looks like a broken heart. This is going to show our stacks. So when you shoot a pulsed enemy, it will start adding stacks. Now if we come down here and look at the attributes, all the Heartbreaker pieces are going to roll armor natively, and then I have crit damage and crit chance. Then the backpack is going to have the talent Cold, which increases our total bonus armor gain per stack of Heartstopper from 1% to 2%. So this is basically going to give us double the amount of bonus armor. So now let's look at the chest piece. This is going to have armor, crit damage, and a crit damage mod on here. And then it's going to have the talent Max BPM. Increases max stacks for Heartstopper from 50 to 100. So this is going to double our weapon damage bonus and double our bonus armor again. So because of the backpack, we basically now have quadruple bonus armor. Next, let's look at the gloves. So this one came with crit damage, so I changed the armor roll to a weapon damage roll. This is going to have so much bonus armor already that I wanted to bump up the damage a bit on this one. And the last piece is the holster. It's going to have armor, and then I re-rolled crit damage on here. So for the helmet, you can use whatever you want. I'm using the Coyote mask. This is just going to give us an overall huge damage boost. It's going to have the talent Pack Instincts, and we're going to be in this 0 to 15 meter range. So we're going to get this plus 25% crit damage a lot. And then we're going to occasionally be in this 15 to 25 meter range and get plus 10% crit damage and plus 10% crit chance. But if you don't have the Coyote mask, you can use something like this Petrov Defense Group for this plus 10% LMG damage. Got weapon damage, crit damage, and crit chance on here. And then you can put a crit damage mod on here. Then of course, last piece, we're going to be using the Turmoil knee pads. This is going to give us crit chance, and then it's going to be God rolled, weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage. Then it's going to have the talent Bewildered, which is going to split 50% of our damage to another target. So now let's look at our skills, and so let's look at the important one first. We're going to be using the Tactician Drone. And in order to use this, you're going to have to use the Specialization Sharpshooter. So this is what's going to be pulsing enemies and allowing us to get those Heartbreaker stacks. And this is going to have a 50 meter scan range, so pretty much anything you're going to be shooting at is going to be pulsed and getting you those Heartbreaker stacks. And you don't have to shoot them in the head, you can shoot them anywhere and you'll still get the stacks. So this is going to have a duration of 387 seconds, which is about 6.5 minutes. And from my experience, the drone pretty much never gets shot down, only the time will expire. So when it does expire, it's going to have about a 20-second cooldown. So if it expires while you're in combat, then you're going to have to get actual headshots to pulse enemies and get those Heartbreaker stacks until you can get your drone back up in the air. So as long as you pay attention to the timer and you don't run into a fight when your drone is about to expire, you're never going to have to worry about getting headshots to pulse enemies. And a quick look at the mods, we've got duration, health, and damage reduction. For the second skill, you can use whatever you want. I personally like using the Reviver Hive. Okay, so now let's get to the fun part. For the weapon, we're going to be using the Bullet King. This is going to have LMG damage, damage to targets out of cover, and then mine has crit damage right here. It's going to have the talent Bullet Hell. This weapon never needs to be reloaded. For every 100 bullets that hit an enemy, replenish some ammo to you and your allies' reserves. So basically you're going to have about a 1200 round mag and you can just pull the trigger and never let go. So for the secondary, we're going to be using the Rock and Roll Shotgun. It's a named ACS-12 shotgun. I believe you can only get this in the Dark Zone or named caches. You can use the regular one. This one's just going to have the talent Perfectly Extra, which is going to give us plus 50% magazine capacity. This shotgun is great for building your Heartbreaker stacks really fast. The Bullet King is still going to give you stacks every time you land a shot, but this shotgun is going to build your stacks to maximum, probably 3 times faster. So this is really good at the beginning of a fight. You're going to put your drone up in the air, and then you're just going to unload the shotgun on the closest enemy to you, bump those Heartbreaker stacks all the way up, then switch to your Bullet King, and then start fighting. So if we look at the stats real quick, I've got 51% crit chance and 146.8% crit damage. So with this build, you can use whatever seasonal modifiers you want. I'm using Overdrive, and since this is going to be a high crit build, I'm going to be using Critical Momentum, Critical Recovery, and then I'm going to be using Microwave Coils, because that drone is going to be constantly pulsing enemies. So Microwave Coils is going to be constantly lighting enemies on fire, and it's just a nice CC. And the last thing is the Specialization. We're going to be using Sharpshooter, so we can use this Tactician drone. And then since we're using the Bullet King, we're going to have this LMG selected for 15% increased LMG damage. So that's the build. Try it out and let me know what you think. Do you like the Turmoil with one-shots, or do you like using it like this? Leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Incoming hostiles detected. Detecting additional hostile contacts. Incoming hostiles detected. Reinforcements incoming. Detecting additional hostile contacts. Reinforcements en route. Detecting additional